So there's been a lot of developments that have occurred in the saga of Mr. Jonathan Majors. And Jonathan Majors apparently, it looks like he's got some good lawyers because they are now talking about the witness completely recanting her entire story. And there's so many interesting racial dynamics around this situation. And y'all know me, I'm not holding back. We're going to talk about everything. So get comfortable, buckle up your seatbelt. We're going to get started on drboycetv.com right now.
Here we are, clan the isms, cataclysm great. Our people out here struggling, trying to make it in this state. Everybody out here doing it, but we the ones too late. Now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money in the power, never be fake. Stick to cosign for 3. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate the same and buy back your home. Got 3 degrees, triple 10. 3 PhDs, now we on the CNN. DBTV, let's talk about negligence. Ignorance is bliss, but we can turn it to intelligence. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. Let's break it down here on Dr. Boyce TV. Here we are.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to drboycetv.com, the home for intelligent Black people. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and a lot of y'all have been following this weekend the crazy saga with the very talented actor Jonathan Majors, who apparently got into some kind of situation with a lady who apparently is his girlfriend or something like that. And apparently there's been a little bit of an update. It looks like it's going to just politely go away. How convenient. Ain't it nice to be famous? And apparently what the media is now saying is that Major's girlfriend, whose name has still not yet been released, but a lot of people think they know who she is, that she has recanted her entire statement, and there's so much to unpack here. I'm gonna try to be efficient with my words because y'all know I've been battling a little bit of a flu the last 3 or 4 days, and I feel 100%. So thank you very much for your well wishes. But also, one of the consequences I learned is that if I talk too much, my voice will be gone. So once I start cracking too hard, I will stop talking. Now, here's the thing. My goal is not to simply rehash what is in the press. If you want to hear what mainstream media has to say, this is not the place to be. My goal is not to talk about just what mainstream media is doing. We start there, but then we go deeper. And the goal is to have Black conversations that don't fit into media. And some of these conversations, they piss off white people. White people don't rock with me like that, even though I have nothing against them. They have a hard time with intelligent Black men who know how to dissect their bullshit. And then some Black people don't like me, and that's okay too. Because if you're not trying to be intelligent, if you're not trying to play chess, then we shouldn't be talking. This is for intelligent Black people, so I hope that's okay with you. All right, so hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, make sure you subscribe, make sure you hit the notification bell so you'll be notified when we go live. And also my website is boycewatkins.com. And I want to remind you, I'll be in Houston doing a 2-day deep dive Black wealth boot camp that will put you, that will show you basically how to build tremendous wealth status for your family for the next 200 years. I guarantee you. We're going to do that in Houston, April 21st. So if you'd like to learn more, just go to boycewatkins.com. I'll be in Houston for just 2 days. And last time I'm doing it. And then after that, I'm not doing it anymore for at least 5 years. All right. So here's the deal. So just to give you a quick update, Jonathan Majors, who is just so talented. I mean, so good at what he does. I saw this movie and his, I saw Ant-Man, and I was floored by how well he played that villain. And I told my wife, I said, he reminds me of Denzel, just that non-tangible that an actor has where you're like, okay, that's believable, man. That's really good. And then I saw Creed, which was a brilliantly done story. Michael B. Jordan, shout out to him, the way they took that Rocky franchise and took it to the next level. All this, right? Blockbuster films. And then I saw Jordan, Ryan Coogler, and Majors really kind of getting into this rarefied space. I said, wow, white people actually like them. And they haven't been completely like reduced down to little boys. Like white people are letting them do white people stuff in a white people world. Hollywood is not a space that's really designed for us. I've talked to you guys about the whole history of Hollywood, where it came from. If you read the book "How the Jews Invented Hollywood," which is not anti-Semitic at all, it's a great book on building empires. I wish Black people we would embrace our own ability to build instead of chasing around begging white folks for opportunities. They actually built Hollywood because they wanted to have a space of their own, and they did it, and it's beautiful for them. But for us, it comes with a price. A lot of your Hollywood celebrities are sold out. A lot of them are doing things under the carpet to get opportunities that you would never do, and that's why I applaud you. You know, there are plenty of talented people who could do well in a place like Hollywood, but you're not playing the game, and I think it's great. I respect you for that. But these three brothers are doing well, and it doesn't look like they've had to pay that same price that maybe you would have had to pay 20 or 30 years ago. So I was really happy for these guys. You know, they're doing a great job, and they're all up in that Marvel Cinematic Universe. What was really most impressive with Jonathan Majors, or most intriguing, was the fact that a lot of y'all don't know he was scheduled to play the new mega villain in the next Avengers movie. And the Avengers movie, you don't get any bigger than the Avengers movie. He was literally going to be the star of the Avengers movie. It was literally going to be called Avengers um, uh, Dynasty of the Kang Dynasty or something. And he's Kang. He's literally Kang. So basically, this dude was going to be um, the headline of a $3 billion movie. The last Avengers movie, y'all, made $2.7 billion. The next one's gonna make three. The next one's gonna make three. When they put out another Black Panther, that's gonna make $2 billion. They make two. They make at least a couple billion on Black people because somehow y'all think that's a Black movie and it's not. It's a Disney movie. But I'm not mad because I'm a Disney shareholder, so it's fine. Keep going to see Black Panther because me and my family do better every time y'all go out and see the Black Panther movie. And I hope that you also will buy shares of stock for your family too. That's what you have to do. But just understand that's not a Black movie. That is a Disney movie with Black characters, and I think you got to make sure you understand that, right? But he was literally going to be the headline of this. So when I tell you that his arrest had probably had some people peeing in their pants. I mean, I can only imagine the late night phone calls like, "Oh my God, what are we gonna do?" Because it's not just like, how do we deal with this situation? Look, if she's willing to play ball, or if she is what they're describing an emotionally fragile, white woman. White women get that pass. White women get the whole like, "Oh, I'm a damsel in distress. Oh, I just lost it. Oh my goodness, I was emotionally unbalanced," and blah blah. White women can do that shit, and people believe it. People will buy that stuff all day long. Now, your Black ass, you get emotionally off balance and you go do something stupid. You go and commit a crime or whatever. You're going to jail. White women can sometimes get away with that, right? So she's doing the damsel in distress. That's the route they're going. They're going the route to say that, at least from what I've read, that she was emotionally disturbed that night or something, and that's what led her to, say something to police that wasn't true. So basically, you lied to the police. You filed a false police report. That's what you did. That's what you did. You committed a crime. That's what you did. And the reason that I want to make sure that that's clear as a Black man is because y'all don't understand, what the stakes are for a Black man when you go out here lying on somebody. Like seriously, it'd be one thing. It'd be one thing if a false accusation against a Black man would led to like a slap on the wrist. It'd be another thing if a Black man being falsely accused means, maybe you get a night in jail, or maybe people talk bad about you for a couple of weeks. No, there have been men that have gotten 30 years in prison where they're being consistently beaten and raped. I mean, being raped one time is horrible. Imagine being raped like, every single day for an entire 5-year period. Like imagine that. Like, you do understand that some of the most horrific examples of rape victims are Black men in prison. Y'all do know that, right? Like when you go to prison, they make you somebody's bitch. Like y'all don't talk about that. Everybody won't talk about police shootings. Like that's the only injustice on this planet. No, that's just the beginning. That's the beginning. The real injustice is what's happening behind those walls in those prisons that they don't tell you about because they get you to they convince you to forget about your own people. You don't even remember about all these brothers that are still locked up right now. Some of them didn't do nothing to nobody, but got falsely accused. So the reason that false accusations should be taken seriously by the Black community is because the stakes are high for everybody. The stakes are high for the Black man and nobody else. The stakes are low for everybody except the Black man. The white woman can tell a lie, and then they investigate. They don't spend $10,000 investigating to find out that you told a damn lie because you didn't want to admit to your daddy that you were sleeping with a Black man. And then they just say, oh, well, she lied. Okay, case closed. And then she just goes on with her life where she can go tell a lie on somebody else. Do you understand that that is a weapon of mass destruction that you're putting in the hands of one group of people? Do you understand that this is like literally like almost lynching ability that you're giving these individuals, where they can literally, and they understand the weaponization of whiteness. They understand that. White women know this. Some white women do. Vindictive white women do. Not all white women would do this, but a lot of white women understand that. Well, go look up the case of the brother. Look up the case of the brother that played for the Dallas Cowboys. He's the running back. Dak, not Dak Prescott, the other one. He's not doing so well. Ezekiel Elliott. I'm an Ohio State Buckeye too, and I wish he was playing better. But I know his daddy. But Zeke ain't really doing what I thought he would do in the NFL. But anyway, he had a white girlfriend, and his white girlfriend, literally, when he would not see her anymore, when he said, "Get out of my house, I don't want to see you anymore," she screamed. She was drunk, and she yelled out loud something like, "I'm a white girl. I can destroy your whole career. All I got to do is go say blah 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 blah, and I can destroy your career." So they know this stuff. So just understand it. Forgive me if I seem to overreact when I tell you how offended I am that if it is the case that she was just telling a story, that this is just swept under the rug. It should not be. But let me tell you this. I'm gonna give you another point of honesty. I think it's all a bunch of bullshit. I think that there's something really did go down. Um, my wife is a social worker. You guys know this. She's a full professor of social work, and she's also a therapist. And one thing, and so she understands things like domestic violence. And one thing that she did say to me is she said, it's one thing if a person pushes you or even punches you. She said, well, but when somebody chokes you, like the lady said, he strangled me. He tried to strangle me, and he's being accused of strangling. That's a problem. That's like when you really think about, imagine in your head when you're putting your hands around somebody's neck, you're trying to hurt them. Like you might be, like they said, that's when you're trying to kill that person, right? Now, again, nobody was there. All we know is what the original police report said and all that. Maybe there's an issue there. Maybe there's something he needs to work on. Truth be told, that's between them, I guess. I'm only observing it in terms of looking at it from a perspective that reflects more on us in our conversation, not so much about him individually. I hope he gets the help he needs. I read his whole bio, and my spidey senses tells me that he's been through a lot. And so the very same thing that makes him a great actor could be the very thing that ends up destroying him. It's almost like with DMX. DMX, if you listen to DMX's music, you can see that DMX, his music reflected a lot of pain, but he had to go through the pain to become a great artist, right? But then also the pain made him into a drug addict, which caused him to die young. So ultimately, when I look at this brother who's a great artist, he's a great actor, I see the conflict, the internal conflict that many great artists go through when they're at the top of their craft. Okay. So anyway, let me keep going. Do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. My website's boycewatkins.com. And also I do have that new book, The 10 Commandments of Black Economic Power. It's the #1 bestseller on Amazon, the public finance category. Thank you for supporting the book. So if you want to take a look, just go over to Amazon. And if you could leave a review, I'd really appreciate it. I think you're going to like the book. Please hit the thumbs up button. So a couple of things I think are happening here. Okay, so she's saying that she lied. Maybe she lied. If she did lie, then clearly that's an issue, right? It's an issue that, first of all, I mean, Why would you ever even want to continue to be in a relationship with somebody that would lie on you and destroy your entire life that way? That's kind of crazy to me. Um, then, second of all, if she did lie, I think that charges should be filed against her for lying. Um, Third of all, I'm going to tell you the truth. I don't believe that she lied. I believe that something did occur, and maybe she exaggerated. But either way, I read a lot of comments as well from people that know the brother from the Yale community. There were several people that came up on Twitter and were saying, "We know this guy. We've known him for a while. We knew eventually it was going to get out. This has happened before. Blah blah blah." I think that's something to look into. But again, here's the thing: I'm not here to debate you with that. I'm not here to debate you. Some people are like, "Oh, you a coon because you ain't assuming the black." I'm sorry, I can't make myself dumb enough. I can't make myself dumb enough to automatically assume that the black guy didn't do it, because I know a whole lot of dudes who did do it. Okay, I'm sorry, so I can't make myself dumb enough to just go along with your Democrat Republican bullshit or your male female nonsense or your or us believing that we know things that we don't actually know. And I don't really care, to be honest with you. That's their business. What I do see here in terms of dynamics is that the racial dynamic I see playing out here is number one, whether he did it or not, whether she was lying or not, Hollywood has a certain way of handling black men who get into situations like this, especially when they're in these situations with white women. Right? They just do. And I'll admit, I spend a lot of time in LA. I know a lot of Hollywood actors. I know celebrities. When I go to LA, I get stopped in the street. I get stopped 3 times before I leave the airport. So I got a little bit of weight in LA. I can go to everywhere from South Central to Hollywood and bump into people that know me. And let me tell you this: I spent a lot of time in that space. It is not a space that works for me. I do not understand y'all brothers out there in LA. I do not understand for the life of me. This is just Uncle Boyce being honest for a minute. I mentioned on Twitter, I don't understand for the life of me how a black man who is the number one sex symbol in the entire black community literally can have every gorgeous, sexy, delicious, thick, luscious black woman on the planet would show up to the red carpet with a lady looking like Godzilla, like literally, like not even not even some white woman where you're like, okay, she's white, but damn, not even this lady. You're dating Beetlejuice. Like, that is not a pretty lady. I don't get it. And and I grew up thinking, I grew up thinking black. There is no comparison to black women. I look at my wife. I told my wife, I said, I made this tweet, and I probably pissed some people off with it, but I said I made it. I was thinking about you because I was thinking about how beautiful you are. And I've never met a white woman as pretty as you, because white women I ain't never seen a white woman with your curves and that soft skin. And black women have something about them. You know what I'm talking about? And men can appreciate that. For some reason, it's weird to me when you see a guy and you're like, man, all those women like you. They all want to be with you. And you're picking her? Like that person? She ain't even got no breasts. Like, did you see her? Like, I'm just being honest. I have to be honest. I literally was like, there's no boobs on this lady. Like, you're dating like a little boy. She looks like Macaulay Culkin did in Home Alone. Like, that is not an attractive lady. And it's not anti-white woman. Don't get me wrong. If you're white, don't get offended. But y'all ain't as pretty as black women. Just not, at least that's not my preference. I just think black women are just gorgeous. And I think honestly, I think people should be more insulted by it than we are. I think that we give so much of a pass. But I admit, I have to be honest with you. I just, when I'm talking to you, I can't lie. I just have to tell my truth. If I was a black woman, it would piss me the hell off that every time you'll have some man that every black woman finds to be attractive, and then he'll like go and marry a white woman. That's the ultimate insult. Like, I really am insulted for y'all. I really think that that's crazy to me. So shout out to the black women who stay loyal to us, in spite of our flaws. But that's one of our issues we got to kind of fix. I just don't get it. But anyway, so with Jonathan Majors, that was my little honest thought. I had to be a little bit, it almost seems petty with me sharing it, but I had to share it because I was talking to my wife and I said, that is like not a pretty lady. And you literally threw away $1 billion for that. Like, even no matter what happened, I don't know what he did wrong. I don't know what he did or didn't do, but I wouldn't. You're gonna throw away everything for that lady? I don't get it. I'm sorry. Okay, what's the other thought on my mind? The other thing that's going to work against him, in my view, is first off, white women are vicious in Hollywood. They're very entitled. The Me Too movement is full of entitled women that don't believe in any form of accountability whatsoever. So what I mean by that is, here's what I mean by that. According to some people, not everybody thinks this way, but for some people in the Me Too movement, they believe that they can get with a man, go to his room at 2 o'clock in the morning, get pissy drunk along with him, and then come out and tell whatever story they want. And everybody's supposed to believe them just because they're a woman. And then they're supposed to be able to tell the story 30 years later with no evidence and ruin the man's life. So this is Hollywood. But here's the thing. That's the game that he's choosing to play, right? And he's in that space. They're giving him certain privileges that come with Black people that are accepted in that space. So that's what he's going to have to live with. No matter what the outcome is, even though she recanted her story, even though she could spend 1,000,000 years going and on like a tour, just like a, not an apology tour, but like a tell the truth tour or something, trying to restore his image. And it won't matter. I think that there are certain people in Hollywood that are just going to say, no, we really know what happened. We really, and by the way, some of y'all were asking what she looked like. So I'm gonna pull the picture up. Now, if you're on Instagram, you won't be able to see it. But you can Google it. It's just imagine like a big, handsome Black man standing next to Beetlejuice. That's kind of what you would see, to be honest with you. All right, so here's the picture, and there she is, in all her like gorgeousness, or something. Yeah, so there you go. That's, I mean, come on, man. What's that? That reminds me of, that reminds me of, does anybody remember that movie, Don't Be a Menace to South Central While Drinking Your Juice in the Hood? And the guy sees, he walks past he walks up to the real pretty Black girl, and he goes, "Excuse me, my sister," and she smiles like he's trying to talk to her, and then he says, "Could you tap that white woman on the shoulder over there?" And the white lady turns around, and she's got like buck teeth, and she's like, so y'all gotta stop it, man. Y'all gotta quit. I mean, that lady, she looks like Joe Biden. Oh my God. Okay, let me stop. And he's like proud, like, look at my woman, look at her. Come on, man, like that's not you, you. Okay, I'm gonna stop. All right. Okay, I'm gonna quit. All right. See, some of y'all making fun of me now. All right, so let me get back to it. All right. So here's the deal. Hollywood does not forgive you. Um, those women are going to now, somebody said that's his coke baby. Now I'm not going to go as far as saying that, but what I will say is, honestly, again, me being honest, when I see a picture like that, like a man who could have any Black woman on the planet and he's with a woman like that, I'm thinking either you don't like women, or you or maybe it's a drug thing, because that is a thing, right? That is a thing in LA. Drugs and men getting with men, that's a big thing in LA, right? So ultimately, you never know. Again, I'm not judging. I'm not that part. I'm not going to even speculate on that because I don't know this guy's life. I just know that, I personally will say as a Black man that when they say that, when they talk about how disrespected Black women are, that's 100% true. When I've gone to LA and I've done stuff, and I've been invited to some special circles in LA. I've been invited to little Hollywood parties and all that, and I've seen stuff where some of the Black women out there would tell me about men that won't refuse to date Black women, Or somebody said, wipe your lip. There we go. All right, I'm wiping one time. I said, I don't know if it's still on there. Y'all just have to look at it. And then I've also seen examples where they won't let black women in the club if they're below a certain shade, right? And I just really think things like that are horribly insulting. And believe it or not, even when I've talked about things like Lizzo, when y'all, you saw where white mainstream media really tried to paint me in a certain way because I called out the fact that Lizzo was only popular because they like to see black women behave in very sluttish and degrading ways. So they instantly wrote it off as he's a fat shaming sexist and all this other stupid shit that they come up with to try to disrespect and discredit black men who speak against their BS narrative. I stand by that to my grave, that I spoke up on that out of support and respect for black women, because I don't think that black women should have to behave like animals in order to get opportunities in Hollywood. I know rappers, like I know E40's sister, Sugar T. I know her real well. And Sugar T talks about how there are so many women, like they pay attention. Look at what's going on with some of the older rappers, older male rappers. Dr. Dre still getting money. Snoop Dogg's making more money than ever. Ice Cube, who's a friend of mine, I talked to him when I went to LA. Ice Cube is still getting money. How many of those women from 30, 40 years ago are still getting money? How many? I mean, still getting money by rapping. Now Latifah pivoted. She seems to be doing okay. But you had Yo-Yo and all these other and Sugar T and all these other great female rappers, MC Light, they got killed. They got killed off. And she said the reason they got killed off is because it got to the point where it became a contest of who could show the most ass and who could rap about their vagina the most. So if you were a female and you didn't degrade yourself or fulfill one of the Mammy, Jezebel, Sapphire stereotypes of the black woman, you were not going to get any opportunities. And I see Dante is saying they weren't any good. No, stop that, man. A lot of these guys, Busta Rhymes and all these men are still making money. Damn near 60 years old, still getting money. 5, 10 of them. You can name probably 5 or 10 black male rappers that were rapping in the 90s that are still making music now and making money making music now. And you can't name probably even 3 women that were making money in the 90s that are still making money now. And it's all because it became a race to the bottom. It became a race to see who could be the biggest hoe. And I think and so when I spoke on that with the Lizzo thing, that was out of defense and support and love for black women, that you should be able to succeed and have opportunities and preserve your integrity without having to just turn into a minstrel show. I just think it's wrong. And that's why I didn't back down for those sons of bitches. I told them, I said, I don't care what you say about me. It was the funniest thing. Because I know the playbook. I know how the media operates. I'm smarter than they are. So I knew what was going to happen. I told my wife, I said, all the white media outlets are going to write the same story. And that's what they did. The Associated Press wrote one depiction of me. Oh, this Lizzo snaps off on sexist, fat shaming professor, blah, 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 whatever. And it was the same story. They ran it 10,000 times. And I said, and they're not going to interview me. They're not even going to, because they don't want to sit down and have me break down what exactly I was saying, because they know they can't handle that. They know that they can't refute that. It's just like when they brought Farrakhan on the show and tried to debate Farrakhan, they couldn't win. Because when you're living off of lies and propaganda, that's all you've got. When people come along with logic and facts and intelligence, you don't know how to deal with that. So the intelligent black man is literally their biggest adversary. That's what they fear. That's why when Joe Biden would go on the campaign trail and he was looking for black people to talk to so he could get black votes, he didn't want to talk to the scholars. He didn't want to talk to the thinkers. He's scared of people like us. He wanted to talk to the rappers. He wanted to talk to the paid off coons in Hollywood. He wanted to talk to the people that know that if you don't go along with that Democrat Republican mafia nonsense, that you're going to lose your opportunities. So he interviewed with Cardi B. How in the hell is a Cardi B interview going to really get the black community what it needs? And then you wonder why your community starves. It starves because nobody's paying attention. Nobody's doing what they really are supposed to do. Nobody's talking to the people who actually have the solutions. So anyway, let me keep going. Hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe, and let me not talk too long because I'll end up losing my voice again and sounding crazy. Um, and by the way, if you go to boycewatkins.com, at the top of my website, I do have a list of AI stocks that I really like for the future. So feel free to go to boycewatkins.com and you can grab that list. It's totally free. And also, some of you are asking how to pick the right stock. I put together something that I actually got a trademark on called the Dr. Boyce Method. And it's basically an 11-step process I use to pick stocks. You guys know my PhDs in finance. And that's what I love to do. I love to pick stocks every single day. And stock market investing as well as real estate are the two key ways that you can build wealth to allow your family to do better in the next generation than the previous generation. So I really want to encourage you to consider that if you haven't done it yet. All right. So and the URL is the drboycemethod.com. So I'm going to leave it up there on the screen if you want to go take a look. All right. So a couple things that Jonathan Majors is going to have to deal with when all this is over is, number one, I don't think the Me Too movement's going to let him off easy. I think they're going to stay on him. They're going to treat him like he's guilty, whether he did it or not. Whether she's lying or not, she's going to go, tell the whole world, no, it was all a big mistake. I was just an emotionally frazzled white woman, and I just said things that weren't true, and it won't matter. They're still going to treat him like an abuser. That's going to probably haunt him for a long time. Now, does that mean he won't have a career? I don't think so. I think he's going to have a career because he's very talented and he's really deeply entrenched. I'm really thinking more like Chris Brown, for example, right? Chris Brown has had a great career since Rihanna, but his career since the Rihanna incident in 2009 has not been the same that it would have been without the Rihanna incident, right? Because you remember, even as early as like a few months ago, he was supposed to do a tribute to Michael Jackson. Did anybody remember that? And he was doing a great job. He showed the rehearsal, and it was really fascinating. And then they just canceled him because they're still saying he's an abuser. He abused women. Because in the Me Too movement, evidence and proof is not something that people actually need. They just need to sort of have feelings. Like if they feel like you did something, then they're going to continuously behave as if you did, and that's just all that's going to matter, period. The other thing is that he's probably going to go through some sort of humiliation ritual. Black men, if you look at his characters, he's played these really strong characters in Hollywood. In Ant-Man, now his first character actually he played a gay man. I don't know if y'all know that, but y'all should go look it up. I forgot what the movie was called, but he actually was butt naked with another dude. And again, you got to be a hell of an actor unless you're comfortable in that situation, if you know what I mean. But yeah, he's literally like laid up with some dude and they both naked and all that. And Will Smith, I remember Will Smith had a role like that. Again, it's Hollywood. Y'all know the agenda. Y'all know what it is. And but a lot of his other roles have been pretty strong. Like I was watching Ant-Man and I saw him, he's shooting white women and punching them out and all this other stuff. And I'm like, wow, they're letting this black man do these things on screen. That's fascinating. And then you saw Creed and you saw these two black men. Creed was just a beautiful movie. I mean, I just really liked what I saw with Majors and Jordan and Ryan Coogler. And I was like, wow, I don't know any of these guys, but I love to just sit and chop it up just to get inside their heads and see what they're thinking when they're doing these projects, because they're doing such a good job with it and they represent so well. And so to me, in my view, I don't think Hollywood's really going to allow him, especially given that he's violated that sin of possibly harming a white woman. I think that there are going to be people that are going to humiliate him. And the humiliation is probably going to come through some sort of extensive apology tour. That's the only way you get back to where you're going to be a headliner of a Marvel movie. He's going to be apologizing his ass off. I'd be shocked if you know what? Maybe I could be wrong, but I would be stunned if you don't see him out apologizing at least 2, 3, 4 times. Going to visit domestic violence shelters, going to meet with rabbis and shit. I mean, because remember the same way they try to do that with Kyrie. Kyrie said, hell no, I'm not doing it. And they're still mad at him for it. But then you saw Nick Cannon. Nick Cannon had to go through his little apology tour and apologize multiple times. And then he got his show back. Snoop Dogg, when the thing happened with Gayle King, he went on his apology tour. So I would be surprised if he wasn't out apologizing. And what's interesting is, if she lied and you did nothing wrong, what would you be apologizing for if you did nothing wrong? Because it seems to me that if she lied on you and made these things up and committed a crime of lying and getting you falsely accused and falsely prosecuted, shouldn't she be apologizing to you? Right? I mean, that's the way things would happen in a world that's fair. But I'm smart enough to know, and you're smart enough to know that life ain't fair. There's no such thing as fair. And so the game he's playing is a game where the black man must apologize even when he's not wrong, and the white woman never apologizes for shit, even when she lied, even when she made something up. Even I mean, think about this. I'll tell you a story about an LA trip. Me and my wife went out to Pasadena, and had a real nice week out there. And we came home, and we were driven to the airport by this really nice white guy who used to be a driver for Hugh Hefner, and he drove a lot of celebrities and everything else. And this guy, I got his card, and I really liked him. His name was David, and David was telling us that he said, you know what? He said, when you're the driver, people just do stuff and say stuff around you, and they act like you're not even there, because he said they know I'm not going to go tell anybody. He said, but since it's like 40 years later, I don't care about telling the stories. And one thing this guy said, he was a white guy. He said I drove Bill Cosby a lot. He said he was always very polite. He was very respectful. He tipped very, very well. Now, was he getting into some other stuff I didn't know about? I don't know. But he said, if I had to bet money, I wouldn't bet. He said I would bet anything that Hugh Hefner did 10 times more than Bill Cosby ever did. He said that was racial. And he also said that in addition to the Bill Cosby thing being racial, he said that the people that were in the documentary, the accusers, he said, I knew some of the accusers. He said, I knew them in the 70s. And I remember them being drug addicts. I remember them chasing Cosby down and wanting to be around him and all this other stuff. And he said, I knew that a lot of them were just jumping on the bandwagon because they knew that it was an easy payday. Now, does this mean that Bill Cosby did not do something that he should not have done? I don't think it does. I think Cosby has a lot of regrets. I think Cosby was strategically irresponsible in his choices. I think Cosby, fame and power can become addictive. You can become. I always talk about that movie that I always like to watch. I can't remember. I gotta watch it again, because every time I watch it, I just meditate on it. It's called. It's about. Oh shit! What was it? I can't remember the name of it. But it's about a guy who got everything he wanted, and what it did was it like corrupted his soul. Like when you get spoiled and you can have anything you want, like that's a pathway to depression. People, they don't talk about that, but people who get all the material possessions they want and all the women and all the money and all you're really getting is access to this dopamine. And so you become like a dope addict, right? And you get it. Dorian Gray. Thank you. I don't know why I can never remember the name of this movie, but yeah, this movie Dorian Gray. That's what it's about. It's about a guy who gets everything he wants. And, so it's like a celebrity, you're Bill Cosby, you got all the money you want, all the power, all the fame, all the love, all the women, like eventually you run out of stuff that excites you, because part of the joy that you can get out of life comes from not having what you want. It comes from desiring things. It comes from seeing something and knowing you can't have it, and then you get it and you're excited about it. So little things that we consider to be curses, like if you start off poor like me and you had to hustle, and then you know what it was like to be broke and sit and daydream about, man, if I get some money, I'm gonna get me a car. This is the kind of car I'm gonna drive. Those things kind of perk you up and keep you going, like coffee, like that's a blessing. So to really not have everything you want really is a blessing, and then when you get it, you can really enjoy it. But if you have it and it's all given to you and it's all handed to you freely, anything that's in oversupply becomes cheap. This is not just true in economics. In economics, anything that floods the market loses its value. If suddenly if we suddenly had an overabundance of diamonds everywhere, diamonds would not be worth a damn thing. Or even a woman's body. There was a time growing up where, if a woman showed you a little something or you got access to a little something, it was a big deal. You'd work for it. You'd be thinking about it. You'd be planning to try to get access to it. Now it's like, dang, man, I just met you 10 minutes ago and you already giving me like your most valuable commodity. So there's nothing to fight for anymore. Right. So really that scarcity adds value to almost any asset in the universe. And that's a human trait. That's just how we are. So if you're always given access to money, money does not mean anything to you. Go talk to like some of these rich billionaire kids about like money. They don't care about money. They're like, I don't care what it costs. They'll go buy stuff and not even look at the receipt. Like really. And even myself, even when I started making a lot of money, I would go to restaurants and the bill would come and I would just sign the bill and just give them a credit card and be done with it. My wife would be like, how much was it? I mean, I don't know. But I remember I remember a time when I was younger where I'd be like itemizing that thing. Like, no, you ordered the cream corn and you got who got a drink? You know what I mean? Like you doing stuff like that, right? So when you have something that is an oversupply, you just don't value that thing. So scarcity really adds to like a richness of life, or the bad times allow you to really appreciate the good times. So those ups and downs that you get access to, that's really a blessing, right? So because sometimes that celebrity life is like a curse. So I think with Cosby, I think that's what it was. I think that he was cursed, but he thought he was blessed, right? You think you're blessed, but think about this. I mean, do you think now that Cosby's an 85-year-old man, his legacy has been absolutely obliterated? He's lost probably $500 million to a bunch of women, who basically helped, where he maybe got an orgasm out of the deal or something in 1975, and his family is looking at him in a certain way. I mean, do you really think that he feels like his life was a blessing? No, it wasn't. It was a curse. I think Cosby or R. Kelly. R. Kelly would be a better example. Look at R. Kelly. I mean, man, this was a guy who had everything he wanted. He was the prototypical Dorian Gray type situation. Everything he wanted, all the money, all the women, all the power. R. Kelly could do whatever he wanted. He could sing his way out of any problem. Well, now what that did was that caused him to be in a world where he did not get the help that he needed. There was nobody around. There was nobody around really checking on him to say, hey, man, look, this ain't cool. Like I know you can get away with this, but this is going to corrupt your soul. This is going to ruin your life. You're taking some unnecessary chances. If somebody had been in a position to say that to R. Kelly 20 years ago, I guarantee you that R. Kelly would not be in prison right now. He would not have children that hate him, losing all his money, probably got every disease in the book, about to spend 20-something years in prison. That's a hell of a trade-off. That's a deal with the devil. That's a deal with the devil. That's why Dorian Gray is a powerful movie in terms of, and I watched it. I think I started watching it because I started looking even at my own life. Like when I became, more successful and had, it even started when I got my PhD. I was famous when I was 25, actually, believe it or not. Famous, if you mean like recognizable, public figure, whatever. And it comes with privileges, So when I was 25, 26, I used to write in the campus paper and everybody knew who I was. And even little things like that gives you access to things. People want to be your friend. They want to buy you stuff. Girls want to be around you. People want to pay you to just do nothing, So even then I started reflecting on it and realizing that it ain't healthy. It's not healthy. So with Jonathan Majors, I don't know him. I don't know this guy at all. All I know about Jonathan Majors is that he is a great actor and that he's had some situations. I read his bio, tried to understand him and all that. But I really would say this, that I hope that he's spiritually intact. I hope he's spiritually balanced. Like Denzel, for example. I like Denzel partly because I get a sense that Denzel is a guy who's like, look, my goal is to be the best actor on earth. I'm not out here for the ego or the women or trying to run parties at the club. No, I'm not going to the Hollywood party. I'm going to church with my wife because I need something that's going to keep me grounded so I don't get caught up in the idea of being Denzel Washington that I end up doing things that are going to jeopardize my legacy, my mental health, my peace, and everything else. So I think Denzel seems to have that balance. Deion Sanders, I think, got a little bit more of it when he started, going into his faith as well. So I think spiritually speaking, I wonder and I hope that for Jonathan Majors, that if I'm going to go ahead and assume he didn't do anything wrong, because I don't know. I mean, y'all can think whatever you want, but it may, or maybe he did. I don't know. Y'all can debate that. But if he did something wrong, I hope he stays grounded enough to get the support and help he needs, because, man, I'm telling you, it is a curse to be the number one sex symbol in Hollywood. It is a blessing. At first, it feels like a blessing, but then it can easily become a curse, because in China, they actually talk about it. They say that the fattest pig always gets slaughtered. So when you become the big man, you also become the big target. And for him to be in such a sloppy situation right now is showing me that maybe there needs to be a better advisor in his corner that can make sure that he's going to actually listen to. That's another key point too. Sometimes your friends can hurt you because, or better yet, maybe your friends aren't really hurting you, but you can be hurt by the fact that you don't have to listen to anybody. So you look at Ja Morant, for example. He plays in the NBA. Ja is 23 years old. Ja got a $200 million contract, and Ja's acting like a complete dumbass right now. So unfortunately, if Ja does not learn how to ground himself enough to have at least one intelligent person that he's going to submit to on some level, to at least consider that counsel on a regular basis, then he's going to destroy himself. Sometimes the worst thing you can do, especially when you have access to money and power, which makes you drunk, the worst thing you can do is not take other people's advice and only listen to yourself. There are some situations where you have to do that, right? Like if you're a visionary and you got a big vision and you got something you're trying to accomplish, sometimes you got to shut all that out. I've done that, right? I've had times where I said, I can't listen to anybody because they don't understand what I'm trying to do. I just got to, I got to listen to Boyce on this. But then there's some times where listening to yourself will put you in a vacuum chamber that'll detach you from reality to the point where you're going to end up destroying everything you've got. So I don't know where things are with this. And I know I probably went deeper than y'all expected where I was going to go, because this is what I'm thinking about. This is just what I'm processing. And I wish him the very best. I still think he's really good at what he does. I was really inspired by his story, actually. He kind of grew up in the hood. He kind of went through a lot of stuff. He used to sleep in his car. And so to some extent, it's a real great rags to riches story. And I think he's going to, if he's able to come back from this and be okay, he's going to be fine. I would get rid of that ugly ass girlfriend though. Get you a sexy black woman, man. Like, come on, dude. Like, there's so many pretty black girls that would love to date you. Why are you showing up with that lady anyway? Especially if she's gonna be out here lying on you. So if she did lie, get rid of her. Call me, man. I'll find some women that'll date you. There's plenty of girls out here for you. All right. So anyway, that's my 2 cents, guys. Thank you for hanging out with me. I kept my voice most of the time. I was really happy about that. So maybe that means I'm getting better. Do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. My website is boycewatkins.com. And if you go to boycewatkins.com, you can find our financial flashcards for children. You can also find copies of my new book. It's called The 10 Commandments of Black Economic Power, which is also on Amazon. It's a #1 bestseller in the public finance category. So I appreciate your support. And I hope you guys have a great day. God bless you. I'll see you soon. Peace.
Here we are, clan the isms, cataclysm great. Our people out here struggling, trying to make it in this state. Everybody out here doing it, but we the ones who late. Now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money in the power, never be fake. Stick to cosign for 3. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate the same and buy back your home. Got 3 degrees, triple 10. 3 PhDs, now we on the CNN. DBTV, let's talk about negligence. Ignorance is bliss, but we can turn it to intelligence. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. Let's break it down here on Dr. Boyce TV. Here we are.